Just a disclaimer, just to put it out there, these nails took me out. I'm not even kidding. These nails took me a whopping 16 hours to do. And a free stiff neck as well. Just to put it out there, to lower your expectations when you're doing your nails for the first time, these nails took me out. Hi, my name is Zen. For those of you who are new, welcome or welcome back. Ew, that sounds so calculated. But honestly, for today's video, I'm gonna be showing you guys how I do these summer nails. I want to take you along with me, you know, show you a little process of how I do my nails and actually how to make them last for 4 to 5 weeks. And I'm not kidding, I've always had my nails last long. And you know, I'm a girl's girl. I don't gatekeep. And before we continue, I'm super curious and I really do want to know what your fallback nails are. And when I say fallback nails, it's like, what would you get when you don't know what you want? Mine would be like an almond French tip. I know, I'm basic like that. But yeah, I'm super curious to know. Write it down in the comments, like and subscribe to help a girly out. But yeah, anywho, I'm not gonna make this long. Let's move to the video. Okay, so I'm gonna do a voiceover because I'm still recovering from doing these nails. But yeah, I was scrolling through Pinterest and I saw this and I was like, oh, that's the nail. Exactly, that's what I'm gonna do. So the first step that we're actually gonna be doing is we're gonna push our cuticles. Pushing it up like that push-up bra that you use when you go out. Yes, exactly, that's the one. But honestly, we're doing this because we want to open the proximal fold, period. I know the terminologies, who said I don't? By doing this, we're gonna have more access to the dry skin that we're gonna be removing in order for our nails to last long. So for this nail look, I'm actually going to be doing a Russian manicure. I am going to be using this flame bit to remove the dead skin around 10 to 15 RPM. It really depends on you, on what you're comfortable in using, but just don't apply a lot of pressure while you're doing it. And that technique really is to lay it flat, just like this one. Don't point it that way. Girl, you don't want rings of fire. Do it flat, just like that, period. That's how you do it. Exactly. Oh, and while you're doing it, you do want to get inside the proximal fold, but don't shove it inside your cuticles. Girl, don't do it. Don't be doing that. Please. I know it feels like I'm so heavy-handed, but I'm just super shaky. My hands are super shaky, so that's why it looks like that. Please don't apply much pressure on this one. This could actually give you rings of fire if you're not careful. So what you're seeing me do right here is that I'm switching the direction to reverse, and then I'm going the other way. You can test it yourself though on what speed you're actually comfortable in doing it. Don't do 15 straight away. Start with maybe like 9 or something. And then try to use it faster as you get comfortable using it. Okay, so technically you're done with the cuticle prep. You don't have to do this, you're good. But I just really like the look of cutting my cuticles, so that's what I'm doing right here. I know in some countries people are like, that's illegal. Kim, your sister's going to jail. But baby, where I'm from, at this point, we're basically cutting cuticles of toddlers. We play mahjong and cut cuticles on the side for fun. But honestly though, if you do want to cut your cuticles, be freaking aware, I swear. It's really easy to cut yourself. And by the way, this is not how fast I cut my cuticles. This isn't fast forward. Okay, so after cutting our cuticles, we're going to be using a 240 grit sanding band and we're just going to be prepping our nail beds. Do keep in mind that I have hard gel on my nails as a protective layer. I just like the strength that it gives me. So that's why I can be a little bit rough with my nails. But if you don't have hard gel over your nails and your nails are thin, girl, use a buff and black. Skip the sanding band. Bust the move, Michael. Anyways, if you guys are curious, yes, your nails will last just as long even if you have hard gel over your natural nails. I actually think that it's better adhesion, in my opinion, from my experience. Now we just want to clean that up like your crusty elbows. So the tips that we're gonna be using is the Après Gel X sculpted round long 600 pieces 14 sizes. I can't read the barcode from here. Guys, this style is so underrated. I barely see people using this online. Honestly though, you can style this and file it to make it look like a stiletto or an almond, or just keep the round shape. Like, it's so versatile, like your husband's status on Grindr. So what you're seeing me do right here is that I'm sizing my nails. I am gonna be sizing it from sidewall to sidewall. I don't really care if it doesn't really fit my cuticles per se, because I don't shove it all the way in there anyways. Now, after sizing your tips and finding your perfect sizes, we're gonna start etching. Now, there are multiple ways that you can do this. You can do chemical etching, and that would be using primer or acetone to etch the backside of the tip, or you can use what I'm using right here, which is a handy-dandy sanding band. Genes are passed down from parents to offspring. Also, make sure that you don't file too much because we don't want to destroy the tip. We just want to etch it, you know? Now we're going to be using this Morovin Extra Strength Primer and Dehydrator. I'm going to start with the dehydrator for this one, and you will know if your prep is good, girl, when it starts crusting like this when you put it for the first time. Now with the primer, you might not want this on your skin, girly pop, so be careful and don't apply too much. What I've noticed is that if you don't apply too much, it actually works better for whatever reasons. So yeah, that's an observation. I'm gonna write a thesis about that, who knows? Okay, so this is my biggest, fattest secret. This gelish foundation flex makes my nails last longer than my longest situationship. I'm not even kidding. I'm not even kidding. Do make sure that you get the foundation flex, because there's also a variant that's just called the foundation, because this one's more flexible. So when you bend your nails won't pop off. And what you're seeing me do right here is that I apply the foundation flex and then I flash cure it so it doesn't flood my cuticles. It's smart, isn't it? But that was not my idea. I just saw a TikToker do that and I was like, wow, mind blown. Greatest invention since electricity. When I'm applying any sorts of gel on my nails, I always make sure that I have acetone and a flat brush next to me so that when gel gets on my skin, I can remove it immediately. I have and will continue to stress about the danger of gel allergy, because it doesn't just stop with not being able to use gel polish in the future. You can actually be allergic to dental fillings, which, like, girl, I'm trying to have that life. Not for me. So please remove gel on your skin. Curing lamps are super important as well. I know we flash cured everything, but it's always important to put it on a big UV lamp to fully cure it, because flash cure lamps don't cure your nails. It just flash cures it into place. And guess what? If you don't fully cure your nails, it will lead to allergies again. After curing your nails, it's gonna be a bit sticky, which is normal, and it's called the inhibition layer. Now don't touch it. Let's proceed to the glue, and I'm gonna be using the Extend Gel from Après, and I'm just gonna be applying another layer of that. Now, I know this looks like so much work, but trust me, if you do all these steps, your nails would literally last for 5 weeks. I'm not even kidding. And similar to how I apply the gelish foundation flex, I am gonna be flash curing it in between nails so that it doesn't blood my cuticles. and then we're gonna be flashing it for 60 seconds. I am gonna be busting out my flash cure lamp to fully apply my tips. How I like to do it is that I apply a thin strip of glue on the back side of the Gel X tip, and I apply a big blob. And when I apply it, I don't fully apply it all the way to the cuticles. I leave about like a centimeter of space, and it's called the overlay method. And we're just gonna flash cure it just like that. And it is gonna burn. I'm sorry. I don't know how to prevent that, but it will burn. So be ready for that. They call it heat spike in the nail industry. I know, how fancy, right? Okay, I know they seem pretty stuck already, but you still need to put them under a big UV lamp to fully cure it. And now we're going to be shaping our little knuckles, and I'm going to be turning them to a stiletto almond-ish shape. I do like to make the sides a little bit skinnier like Bella Hadid. It just makes my hands more feminine and sexy, so that's why I really just go off on the sides. And if you guys are wondering, I'm using an 80 by 80 grit sanding band because girl, who's got the time to use those 180 ones? This files off instantaneously. Now, since we use that 80 by 80 file, we're bound to have tiny micro cracks. So we're gonna use this buffing block to smooth those micro cracks away to make your nails last longer. To blend my cuticles, I'm gonna be using this ceramic bit around 9 RPM. Mind you, I'm doing this with very, very, very light pressure. Don't dig in, girly pop. Also, make sure that you angle your e-file flat to your nail bed because girly, the littlest amount of this angle, I don't even know if that's a word, but the little amount of this angle would cost you your life. Just kidding. It would cost Ring of Fire. And I know I've been talking about Rings of Fire throughout this video, but it really is that serious because I've had it before and I ain't trying to have it again. Next step is we're going to be roughening up the tip, and I'm going to be using a 240 grit sanding band to do this. You can also use any files for this, but this is just faster for me. Same concept as with etching the underneath of the nail to make them last longer. We're also etching the top part of the nail tip so that gel would adhere better on top of it. Okay, so this blending method actually changed my life. I'm not even kidding. And this is putting acetone to blend your tips to your natural nails. And this is just chef's kiss, honestly. Like, it doesn't look like extensions. It literally looks like it's coming out of you, which is scary if you ask me. Now look at that beauty right there. To give even more strength to our nails, we're going to be using this Orly Gel FX builder in a bottle, and we're going to be applying a thin coat on every finger. What I really love about this gel is that it's self-leveling, but it gives you the strength of hard gel, which, hello, why wasn't this invented earlier? Just kidding, I only started doing my nails 6 months ago, so I don't know why I'm complaining anyways. We're just going to be curing that in for 60 seconds. So our friends over at Beetles actually sent us a few stuff to try on. They sent us charms and a few gel polishes. For the nail art, we're going to start with using this pale pink gel polish from Beetles. And I'm only going to be applying this on my thumb. Moving on to OPI gel color Bare My Soul, I'm going to be putting it on my index finger and also my pinky finger as a base. For my ring finger, I'm going to be using this DOI Nudie Beige. And this is a bit lighter than the OPI Bare My Soul. And this is a Korean brand, I think. And I'm still trying this out. And we're just going to be curing all of those for 60 seconds. We're just going to be adding a second coat to the pink that we just did on our thumb. And also on the other fingers that we did. So OPI Bare My Soul on my index and pinky finger. And then the DOI on my ring finger. I am going to be using this yellow-green patting gel on my thumb, trying to create an aura nail with patting motions using this sponge applicator. Next step is we're going to be using this orange patting gel, and we're going to apply that on the tip of our ring finger, kind of like making an ombre effect. And guys, I highly discourage using gels on airbrush machines because gels aren't meant to be aerosolized and they're not meant to be inhaled, so please be careful. I am going to be applying multiple layers of the orange up until I get the opacity of the ombre that I want to achieve. I'm pretty sure that for this one specifically, I applied 3 layers of the orange. Now we're going to be using this pale yellow because I don't really have a patting gel that's pale yellow. So I'm just going to use this gel polish to create the ombre nail. And for this one, I also applied multiple layers as well. I think I applied 2 to be exact. Moving on, we're just going to be using this magenta shade on our pinky finger, but making a very thin aura line down the center. And then we're going to cure it for 60 seconds along with everything else. For our middle finger, I'm going to be using this teal to kind of serve as the color of the sea. That's the background of the starfish. Grabbing this jelly white polish to kind of like create the waves, we're going to apply a thin layer of this. Then we're going to be applying sporadic dots of blooming gel on top of it to kind of make the waves bloom a bit more, if you know what I'm talking about. This is really hard to explain, just look at it. I'm pretty sure y'all are visual learners anyways. You'll see the result, you'll see it. See, look at that. That looks gorge. Tell me that's not water. Next step on our nail look is we're going to be applying some blooming gel on our index finger, and we're going to be applying some tiny little dots along the tip, kind of like a blooming gel dot-ish French tip, but instead of lines you get dots. And we do want to wait for it a bit to bloom, and then we'll cure it. Now we're going to be grabbing a non-wipe top coat. This is my favorite top coat, and this is from Amuse Gleaming Top Gel, and I'm going to be applying it on my index, on my ring finger. Guys, I'm finally losing it. It's super late. It's like 4 a.m. already, and I'm still here doing a voiceover. What has my life become? Okay, so we're going to be using some pearl on our index finger. I'm going to try to link something from Amazon because the one that I'm using is from a local brand from where I am. But basically, we're just going to apply it using a sponge and putting on some top coat on top of it. For the embossing, I'm going to be using hard gel and this pointer brush, and I'm going to put a dot at the very end and I'm going to drag it up. Remember the dot that we created earlier with that blooming gel? I'm going to start there and I'm going to drag it down the middle. Using the same technique on my ring finger, just in a different direction. I'm still going to use the same hard gel and the same brush, and I'm going to be dragging it from left to right. Using a light blue gel polish from Beetles, I'm going to be using this to kind of create a border across my thumb. You guys, I know this looks perfect here and I make it look so easy, but trust me when I tell you, this took me multiple tries and multiple erasures and multiple groans. Now using the red, I'm gonna be drawing in a stem of the flower and then using a maroon or a dark red, I guess that's called, and we're gonna be putting on some dots on top. And this is on our pinky finger, BTW. Okay, so in this stage, you're seeing me apply top gel and shaking so much because this is already 6 hours in, and that's for just the design alone. So yay! We're gonna be applying top gel to only 4 fingers, and that's gonna be the thumb, the index finger, the ring finger, and the pinkity pink pink pink. I'm sorry, I'm losing it. To apply the tiny little droplets, I'm going to be using the Gel FX Builder in a Bottle from Orly, and I'm going to be applying small, tiny little dots all over my thumb nail. And it really does help if you apply random sizes all across the nail. And we're just going to be flash curing it so it doesn't move around while we work on the other finger. And I'm going to be doing the same thing on my pinky finger, only on the bottom part. Okay, perfect. Now we're on the exciting part, creating that elitist starfish on my middle finger. I'm just going to be rolling 5 elongated solid gels and applying it on a star formation on my nail. And I'm just going to be shaping it using this shaping tool. I don't know what this tool is called. It's a shaping tool. I'm just going to be flattening out the edges, as you guys can see right here, trying to form it more onto a star. And I'm also making sure that it lays flat on my nail. And then we're just going to be closing off that gap in the middle, and we're just going to cure it. For the color, I'm gonna be grabbing a creamy white. I know this looks white here, but it's actually a creamy white, and I'm gonna cover the whole starfish with this one. It does look messy, but I'm gonna be cleaning it up using acetone and a brush. So, oh, actually, you're seeing me do it right here. What a coincidence. I'm actually gonna be applying 2 coats of that creamy white because I'm not satisfied with what it looks like. It looks a bit patchy, and there we have it. Using this brown polish, since I don't have a brown padding gel, I'm gonna be using it to kind of create this ombre effect on the starfish. And as expected, I'm gonna be using multiple layers of this, flash curing it on each layer so that it doesn't come off. All in all, I think if I remember correctly, I did around 3 to 4 layers of the brown to achieve the look that I'm going for. For the tiny little dots, I'm going to be using a darker brown shade, and I'm just going to be using this dotting tool, this tiny itty bitty little dotting tool, and I'm just going to dot tiny little dots. That's a lot of dots. Hello? I'm going to dot tiny little dots across the starfish. And now to seal the look, I'm just going to be using this top gel, and I'm making sure that I cover everything and I don't really leave in a gap so that it stays longer. Okay, one hand down, one more to go. So to start off the design with my other hand, I'm going to be using the OPI Bare My Soul on my thumb, my index finger, my ring finger, and also my pinky finger. Out of all the jelly polishes that I've owned, I think this is my favorite. This color matches me the most and I enjoy using it. Similar to what I did on my other hand, I'm going to be applying 2 coats of the Jelly Nude Polish from OPI on all 4 fingers, just to achieve the opacity that I want. I don't want it to be too transparent. Grabbing this magenta padding gel, I'm going to be applying it on my ring finger as an aura nail. I did also apply multiple layers of this to achieve my preferred look. All in all, if I remember correctly, I think I did 3 layers of this. For the base color of our ring finger, I'm going to be using this light blue gel polish shade from Beetles. And I'm also going to be applying 2 coats of this to get the full opacity. Then we're going to be grabbing a pale yellow color and we're going to be doing a French tip on my index finger. And I know a lot of people say that French tips are easy to do, but girl, boy oh boy, is that statement wrong. This took me so long, especially if you're doing your dominant hand, so don't feel bad if you're making multiple mistakes. I am going to be adding 2 coats of this because I'm not fully convinced with just 1 coat. Girl, that looks weird. I'm also going to be doing a French on my pinky finger, but for this one, I'm going to be using white gel polish. And for this one, I'm just going to be using 1 coat because I'm confident with the white polish that I'm using. Next step is we're going to be grabbing this orange padding gel and we're going to pat that on the side of our pinky finger, kind of like an ombre, but on the side. I don't know what it's called, but yeah. Next is we're going to use a green one and do an aura nail. on the middle finger. And this also took me a long time because the color was not coloring for whatever reason. And all in all, I think I applied 2 coats of that. Now to the nail that took me out. Tell me why this nail took me literally 1 hour to do, just doing this little swiggly lines, trying to redo it every single time. It's like French tip, but level 30. Like, look at me shaking. Hello? Anyways, cheers to all nail techs out there who actually puts up with customers that request these kinds of designs. I applaud you. Like, honestly, how do you do it? Okay, so I'm actually doing zebra prints here using black gel polish. I don't even know what position I'm doing it in. You be the judge. I'm just shaking and I'm over it and I want this to be done already, honestly. But you know, I had to remind myself that this is for the vibes, so I can't stop. Okay, so what you're seeing me do right here is I'm actually replicating what I did to my thumb on my other hand. It's like an all over French, like a border French. I don't even know what it's called. I actually want to do this marble-esque design for the thumb, so I'm going to be applying some blooming gel and I'm going to be applying some swiggly lines using a milky white gel polish. And you don't really have to be too technical with this, just swiggle it, swerve it, do whatever you want, baby girl. Now we're going to be applying top coat on my pinky finger, my ring finger, and my middle finger. To be completely honest, it's actually okay to not top coat my middle finger just yet because I am going to be doing some embossing. But guess what? Your girl is running on coffee and I don't know what I'm doing at this point. So yeah. And then we're going to be applying some droplet design on the ring finger. Now, similar to the other nails, I'm going to be doing random sizes to make it look more realistic. And then I'm going to be using hard gel again to do these swiggly lines for my middle finger. This took me ages, by the way. This took me multiple attempts. So if you struggle, don't worry, you're not alone. For the thumb, I'm going to be doing some lines from right to left, going to a point. And I'm also still using hard gel here. And you guys can see how shaky I am already. Because girl, this is like the 16-hour mark already. On the inspo reference, this is actually not 3D gel. She just draw it, but the thing is I kind of want to change it up a bit, so I used a solid gel for this flower design. What I'm doing right here is I just placed 3 bead and I kind of morphed them into petals, as you can see. I am going to be filling in the entire petal with red gel polish. And you can be messy with this because you can remove it with acetone anyway if you make mistakes. And then we're just going to cure it for 60 seconds. And I am applying some pink to give it more definition to the petals on the outer half, like more than half really. Curing that again. And then for the last part, I'm going to be applying red again, but only on the tips. And as you guys can see, it gives the illusion that it's like perky, if that makes sense. And I'm just going to be top coating everything. I'm also still using the same top coat, which is the Amuse Gleaming Top Gel. You guys, this is the best top gel ever. It's actually hard gel as a top coat, so it's really hard to scratch and it stays shiny throughout the month. I'm not even kidding. I'm not trying to sell anything, but that's the truth. So we're finally done. Yay. That took out 4 years out of my life. I'm not even kidding. But we're gonna be doing some aftercare. I'm gonna be using this Cusio Natural Cuticle Oil. The vanilla one is so good. It's my favorite, really. I'm not even kidding. I use it in every nail video. Like when I do my nails, mom, I use this, and it's literally not like other oils that disappear. This one stays on your skin for a bit. And now for my favorite hand cream. This is the L'Occitane hand cream, and this one is my favorite because it's thick. You know, I love me some thick hand cream because I have very dry skin, and this literally makes my skin so soft and dainty and demure. But yeah, that's it. How do you guys like the nails? Y'all better like it because this took me forever. So that is it, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed what you just saw. And if you ever try doing this, please tag me. My Instagram handle is down below. Message me, tag me, whatever. Let me know if you've actually done these nails. Because, you know, I want you guys to do it. Comment down below on what videos you guys want me to do next, or any nail art inspiration that you want me to do. Other than that, I'm so grateful for you guys, and I'll see you on my next one. Love you!